when you start to align your life with your purpose, with the calling of God, with the dream of God, you take action towards that instead of what seems like more convenient short-term fulfillment that comes from the ego. You start seeing that when I align my life with God's vision, everything starts to flow naturally. So this brings me to the 6 signs whether you know whether you are on the path of God's dream that was planted in your heart for a reason. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of On Purpose by Lynn. For those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Lynn and I share with you everything you need to know about personal growth and spirituality so that you can create your best life and so that you can rise to your fullest potential. If that's something that you're interested in, then make sure to subscribe. In this episode, I'm going to share with you how to know whether your dream, your vision comes from God, universe, source, or it comes from your ego. And the reason why this is important is because when you are manifesting your dream from an ego-based perspective, from an ego-based desire, then you are most likely going to be challenged with a lot of burnout, a lot of forcing, a lot of struggle, and also a lot of resistance because the universe is like, hey, we have this greater plan here for you and we want you to fulfill this. And if you do this, we'll bring to you all the blessings that you're wishing for. But if you keep pushing your own agenda, then we're just gonna show you and give you signs, hey, this is not the direction to go. So if you're starting to follow the dream that God has for you, the dream that the universe source has for you, then you're most likely going to be flowing with fulfillment, with abundance, with synchronicities, with beautiful soul alignment in your journey where you feel like things are just coming towards you instead of you needing to chase it. So this is why it's so important that you manifest from what the universe, God, source wants for your life. And I'm going to give you the 6 signs of how to know if you're manifesting from source, God, universe, or you're manifesting from your ego. Whether your dream is from source, God, universe, and whether your dream comes from your ego. So if that's something that you'd love to learn more about, then stay around. So before I'm going to share with you the 6 signs whether your dream is coming from source or from your ego, I'm going to share with you a little bit about my story so that you know that this is not something that I made up. It's actually something that I've lived, and I've lived into more and more throughout my life, and this is what I came down to. When I was started to spiritually awaken, I started to first awaken to the law of attraction. And when I started to awaken to the law of attraction, I was like, oh, great. We can manifest. It's amazing. And some of you might recognize this when you're in the first stages of your spiritual awakening. You get so excited about the law of attraction and discovering that we're actually powerful creators and we can manifest a lot of beautiful things in our lives. Naturally, I started to do all these beautiful techniques. I started to do the visualization. I started to do the scripting. I started to do gratitude journaling. And I had all these dreams for my life, right? The thing is, when I was at the start of my spiritual awakening, there was still a lot of lack within me. So I had this dream, and the first dream that I had was helping people to rise to their fullest potential, things that I'm actually doing now and I've aligned my life towards to. But when I started to spiritually awaken at first, I was so new to all of this and I was so not equipped with a lot of the tools and the knowledge and the wisdom that I wasn't quite sure how to do this. So first of all, I started to look at ways of how to do this, and my ego was so smart. I started a lot of different businesses that I thought would help me to do this and fulfill this, and so I started to sell products that I believed that would help the world, and they are helping the world, but The thing with selling these products was that it wasn't fully in alignment with my higher self. My higher self was like, okay, this is great, you know, this is a product that helps people, but you know, you need to believe in yourself. You need to believe in your gifts, and you need to equip yourself with the wisdom and the knowledge and the tools so that you can actually start helping people. And so it was a couple of years that I was doing this business, right? And I was faced with so much challenge, and I resisted actually going into the direction that I was already felt called towards to, but I didn't believe that I could go into this direction. So I started pushing this selling of these products. And there were multiple products at the time, and I was just faced with a lot of challenge, a lot of resistance, a lot of forcing, to a point where I was working so hard that I was working day and night, quite literally. At night I would be working on ideas, visions that I would take action on during the day, and I wasn't moving the needle any further. So I found myself in deep exhaustion, feeling discouraged, feeling not understood, feeling like, you know, I needed to do it all by myself, feeling like the universe was working against me, even though I was doing all these manifestation techniques. And so eventually, I started to shift more as I naturally also started to equip myself with more wisdom about the whole law of attraction things, and I started to go deeper into my spiritual awakening. I started to align with what I'm actually doing now, which is helping people to rise to their fullest potentials, leading them back to the path to self, to the path of the universe, to God, to their higher self and their innate wisdom and their truth and their knowledge and who they're supposed to be here. And so that was a whole journey, but in that journey, I saw that when I started to overcome the fear to actually take action on what I initially already knew deep down was my mission, my purpose here on earth, and when I started to align my life with that vision, I saw that I started to attract new opportunities, people that were actually going to help me to overcome my internal beliefs and limiting beliefs and fears and a lot of shame and disempowerment to align with my purpose. So I started to learn how to speak. I started to learn how to alchemize my inner world. I started to learn through my life's experience so many lessons about the universe and how it works. I started to learn about karma, not through mind, but through embodiment. And so all these events and people started to line up that actually led me to where I am now, which is the place where I've grown into my own full potential. And I'm not saying that I've fully arrived yet, because it's an expanding, ever expanding journey. But what I'm saying is that when you start to align your life with your purpose, with the calling of God, with the dream of God, and you take action towards that instead of what seems like more convenient short-term fulfillment that comes from the ego, you start seeing that actually when I align my life with God's vision, everything starts to flow more naturally. So this brings me to the 6 signs whether you know whether you are on the path of God's dream that was planted in your heart for a reason, or you're actually trying to force your ego's dream. So without further ado, the first sign that your dream comes from Source, God, Universe, is that it encourages love. It encourages harmony. It encourages also not love outside of yourselves, because remember, I was selling a product that I believed would genuinely help the world, which it did, but I also needed to have that love for myself and that belief in myself and that harmony within myself, right? And I was coming from a place of lack. So the place I was trying to accomplish that dream from was not from a place of love and harmony, right? It came from lack and conflict, inner conflict, and not believing in myself. So this goes both ways, right? The vision for your life or the dream that you have, is it in alignment with love externally? And also, does it align with believing in yourself? Does it align with loving yourself? Does it align with believing that you can do things? And that is so important. And if it comes from your ego, it most likely is service to self, right? It's doing it for recognition, doing it for love, doing it for status. When you're genuinely coming from service to others, it comes from a place of self-love. It comes from love, and you're not doing it for love. Does that make sense? Right? You have the love within yourself that you can now give freely. Instead of when it's ego, it's like, oh, I'm trying to fill this void for me, so I need to get that love or that validation or that recognition from outside to fulfill a void in me. Okay, so second sign that this vision, this dream comes from God is it feels too big or unrealistic for your life. When I first received this vision, this mission, this dream, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't think I can do this. This is beyond me. Like I said, I didn't have the skills, I didn't have the tools, I didn't know anything about, speaking on camera or helping people. I didn't even know how to do that for myself, right? And how to spiritually awaken myself. And so I wasn't sure how to do this. And often when God puts a dream in your life, it just feels like, it's way too big for you to achieve. But that's a sign that it doesn't come from your ego, because your ego wouldn't come up with something that's too big for you to achieve. Your ego wouldn't come up with something that's so beyond what you feel like your life is right now. So this brings me to the third sign. And the third sign that your vision comes from God is that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what happens in you fulfilling or answering this calling, no matter how challenging, no matter the blockages, no matter the resistance or the inner resistance that you feel, the dream will keep calling you. And that's something that I found massively. I've been on this journey for almost 8 years right now. Now, in those 8 years, I've done a lot of different things. Like I said, I started selling products, and these were multiple products. That was not it. Then I tried working for other people. I did so many different things. But it was all in alignment with the higher vision. Even though the way that I thought I could fulfill that vision was very limited and wasn't source driven, there was a calling that always led me to this bigger vision. So even though I didn't really believe in myself, even though I didn't think that this was possible for me, there was this deeper yearning or knowing that even though it seemed unrealistic, it was possible for my life. And so I just kept going, no matter the criticism, no matter the challenges, no matter the financial issues, I kept pushing through. And this is something that you will find when this calling truly comes from God, is that your why is so deep. It feels like it comes so deep that it's almost like an urge. There is a need to fulfill it. There's a need that you must answer to this calling. There is no other way. This is also how you know that this calling really comes from God, and it comes from your higher self and source. Because when it comes from your ego, most likely, if it's gonna be too challenging, you're going to give up, because it's, your why isn't deep enough. Your soul drive isn't deep enough. So you're going to give up on whatever it is that you wanted very easily. That's how you know it comes from your ego, not from God. The fourth sign that your dream comes from God is that your dream has a way of blessing others while you are being blessed. So when this vision comes from God, it's like God saying to you, the universe, source, your higher self, saying, hey, I'm gonna give you this so that you can share it with the world. And sometimes those gifts are the lessons that you learned through going through challenges, right? And that's why sometimes or what I most often think is that when we are going through challenge, it's not because the universe wants to punish you, it's because some deep down inside there is a lesson that needs to be learned, and when you've learned that lesson, you become a blessing to others. And when you are stepping into that service to others, the universe will provide you with everything that you need in order to give. Someone lately said, I believe that this was Michael Bidwith, is when you start to shift from I need to get to I want to give, is when you need to get something, it's coming from a place of lack. It's coming from a place of I don't really have something, so I first need to get it so that I can give. But if you just shift that mindset and you say, universe, I want to give to people, then the universe needs to give you something in order to give. You know what I mean? This is what happens. So when you are really living in alignment with God's dream, the universe has to give you the gifts so that you can gift it to others. So both you are gifted and other people are being gifted through your service. The fifth sign of how to know whether your dream is coming from God is to see that whenever you're in alignment with your dream that comes from God, you will see that the universe starts to conspire in your favor. You're starting to notice so many synchronicities. And synchronicities through angel numbers, synchronicities through, looking on the clock and seeing that it's 11:11 or 5:55 or 3:33, or you just feel like numbers are sort of after you, chasing you, or you hear certain words or certain symbolisms in your life that keep repeating, or it's just a certain theme that's introduced in your life, and people are, through conversations with others, these themes keep popping up. And it's not like you're really looking for signs, but they're coming to you, and it starts to be a little weird. You're like, how come that suddenly I have all these repeating things coming into my life, or through lyrics from songs, or it could be so many different synchronicities. And that is God showing you, hey, you're on the right path, and we're conspiring, we're aligning you, and we're bringing you into the flow. And that's a second thing, right? Is when you are in alignment with God's dream, with God's vision for your life, then you also feel like there's a certain effortless ease. You're in the flow. Whenever you need something, it pops up for you. Or whenever you have an idea, or God gives you the inspired impulse and you take action, there's all these things that starts lining up, and you don't feel like you need to force. It starts flowing with effortless ease. This doesn't mean that you're not taking action. You are taking action, but it doesn't feel like you need to effort a lot into that, if that makes sense. And now the sixth sign, and before I'm going to share the last one, which is the most powerful one, I want to say, if you've liked this video, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more content like this, that's all about spiritual awakening, manifestation, consciousness, self-love, healing, all the spiritual things that will help you to become your best self and to live in your most fulfilled, aligned, soul-aligned life. Don't forget to share this video with anyone who you think could benefit from this message right now. Also, remember that I do have a podcast which is called Returning Home with Lin Lim. You can find it on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or just watch it here on YouTube on my podcast playlist. So this brings me to the sixth sign, which is the dream and your journey on this dream feels expansive. And it requires you to break through fears and limitations from your ego. So like I was saying, at first I didn't believe that I could actually fulfill this mission, or that I knew how to guide people. I knew how to, help people and share these messages and spread the wisdom that I've learned in my life. And through following this calling, I have learned to overcome that fear, and I've been encouraged and supported by the universe and my higher self and God to really step into my power and to step into my destiny and my soul-aligned life. And so this doesn't mean that when you're on your journey, everything will feel expansive all the time, because sometimes when we're expanding, we're naturally being confronted with the resistance, right? We need to break through layers of our limitation. So The overall theme of this journey of manifesting and knowing that your dream comes from God is knowing that overall it has felt expensive. Even though there might be moments where you felt fear or self-doubt or just not sure of yourself, you are being called to overcome that. And so that is one of the most powerful signs that you know that this is coming from God. Is it's bringing you closer to your highest timeline, your abundance, your happiness, your fulfillment, your mission, your purpose, while it also helps you to expand and become a very powerful human rooted in the earth, connected to the heavens. So the resistance that you will be faced with is not resistance from the universe, but it's resistance from yourself. It's not because the universe doesn't want you to expand in this way. The universe is actually guiding you towards this vision so that you can overcome your inner resistance. So those were the 6 signs of knowing that your dream is coming from God, source, the universe, your higher self. If you have liked this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this, and don't forget to hit that notification button so that you'll be notified with every single video that I upload every Sunday. Like I said, share it with anyone who you think could benefit from this message right now. I'm looking forward to see you next Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning in, and remember, we have such an exciting future to look forward to, even if it doesn't seem like it right now. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next video. Bye for now.